The early morning hours of Thursday, May 22, 2025, brought an unforeseen horror to a sleeping San Diego neighborhood. Under the cloak of a dense, disorienting fog, a routine flight approach transformed into a catastrophic event that would sear itself into the city's memory. What should have been a standard landing for a private jet became a scene of chaos and destruction, as the aircraft, struggling against the poor visibility, tragically failed to reach its destination. The quiet pre-dawn stillness was shattered by an unimaginable impact, jolting residents from their beds and plunging them into a terrifying new reality, a stark reminder of the fragility of life when faced with sudden, overwhelming disaster. The city awoke not to the gentle California sun but to sirens, and the grim news of a tragedy unfolding in its midst. The aircraft involved was a 1985 Cessna 550 Citation, a twin-engine business jet with a history of reliable service in private aviation. It had embarked on its journey late the previous evening, Wednesday, May 21, 2025, originating from Teterboro, New Jersey, a busy hub for private and corporate flights near Manhattan. The flight plan included a scheduled refueling stop in Wichita, Kansas, which was completed without incident before the Cessna continued its westward journey. Its final destination was Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport in San Diego, a popular airfield for general aviation. However, as it neared the airport, the prevailing weather conditions, particularly the thick fog described by officials as severely limiting visibility, would prove to be a critical factor in the devastating events that followed. On board the ill-fated jet were 6 individuals, and authorities sadly confirmed early on that there were no survivors from the crash. Among those lost were prominent figures from the music industry, sending ripples of grief far beyond San Diego. Dave Shapiro, the respected co-founder of Sound Talent Group, was on the flight, along with 2 of his valued employees. Sound Talent Group is known for representing an impressive roster of artists, including well-known bands like Hanson, Sum 41, and singer-songwriter Vanessa Carlton. Shapiro was also the owner of Velocity Records, further underscoring his significant contributions to the music world. The loss of these individuals represents a profound blow to their families, colleagues, and the artists they championed with such dedication and passion over the years. The music community also mourned the presumed death of Daniel Williams, the former drummer for the acclaimed metal band The Devil Wears Prada, who was traveling with Shapiro. The band quickly posted a heartfelt tribute to their former member, expressing their deep sorrow and acknowledging his talent and camaraderie. These personal losses underscore the human tragedy at the heart of the incident, reminding us that beyond the twisted metal and official reports are stories of lives cut short, dreams unfulfilled, and a void left in the hearts of many. The identities of all victims were being carefully confirmed by authorities, a painstaking process that adds to the anguish of waiting families and friends, each name representing a unique story now tragically concluded. The crash occurred with terrifying speed and violence just before 4 a.m. local time. The Cessna 550 Citation, on its final approach to Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport, tragically struck power lines approximately 2 miles southeast of the airfield. This impact sent the aircraft plummeting into the Murphy Canyon neighborhood, a densely populated area primarily consisting of U.S. Navy-owned housing. The sudden roar, followed by a massive explosion and fireball, ripped through the early morning calm, transforming a peaceful residential street into a scene of unimaginable destruction. The dense fog, which Assistant San Diego Fire Department Chief Dan Eddy described as so thick you could barely see in front of you, undoubtedly played a significant role in the aircraft's fatal descent and the subsequent chaos. The immediate aftermath on the ground was nothing short of horrific. At least one home bore the direct brunt of the impact, its front heavily burned and its roof partially collapsed, a testament to the sheer force of the crash. Around 10 other homes in the vicinity suffered varying degrees of damage, from shattered windows to structural compromise. Adding to the terror, highly flammable jet fuel cascaded down the streets, igniting parked vehicles and creating rivers of fire. One car fire in particular sent thick, acrid smoke billowing into the sky for hours, a grim beacon of the unfolding disaster. San Diego Police Chief Scott Wall, visibly moved by the scene, described it as pretty horrific, highlighting the jet fuel going down the street and everything on fire, painting a vivid picture of the inferno first responders faced. Miraculously, despite the widespread destruction in the residential area, no residents on the ground lost their lives. However, the danger and trauma were very real for those living in Murphy Canyon. 8 people from the neighborhood were transported to local hospitals, primarily for smoke inhalation and other non-life-threatening injuries. One individual sustained injuries while bravely climbing out of a window to escape the rapidly deteriorating conditions. In the interest of safety, authorities swiftly evacuated at least 100 residents from the immediate crash zone and surrounding homes. The pervasive, sickening smell of jet fuel lingered heavily in the air, a constant reminder of the tragedy, making it unclear when these displaced families would be able to return to their homes and assess the full extent of their losses. Emergency crews, including firefighters, police, and paramedics, rushed to the scene, navigating through the thick fog and the debris-strewn streets. Their initial efforts focused on extinguishing the multiple fires, preventing further spread, and attending to the injured. The conditions were incredibly challenging, with limited visibility hampering rescue and firefighting operations. Firefighters worked tirelessly to contain the blazes fueled by the spilled jet fuel, while police secured the perimeter to allow emergency personnel to work safely and to preserve the integrity of what would soon become a major investigation site. The coordinated response under immense pressure and in the face of such devastation was crucial in preventing further casualties and bringing a semblance of control to an utterly chaotic situation. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, quickly dispatched a team of investigators to San Diego, with plans to be on site for several days to meticulously gather evidence and determine the cause of the crash. Their work began amidst the wreckage, with parts of the Cessna 550 citation, including fragments found directly under the severed power lines, and a significant wing section, scattered across a large area of the Murphy Canyon neighborhood. A crucial piece of information for the investigation is the audio recorded by www.liveatc.net, which captured a brief transmission from the pilot at approximately 3:45 a.m. In this final communication, the pilot stated he was on final approach, about 3 miles out from Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport, offering a chilling insight into the flight's last moments before disaster struck. Understanding the established aviation safety protocols for Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport, especially in adverse weather conditions like the dense fog present on May 22, is critical. Aviation attorney Barry Newman explained that for this particular airport, once an aircraft operating on an Instrument Flight Rules or IFR plan descends to an altitude of 673 feet in foggy weather, the pilot must also be able to visually identify the runway environment to continue the landing. If the runway or its approach lights are not visible at this decision altitude, aviation regulations strictly require the pilot to execute a missed approach procedure and either attempt another approach if conditions improve or divert to an alternate airport with better weather. This critical decision point highlights the immense responsibility pilots face in such challenging, low-visibility situations. This tragic event unfortunately echoes previous aviation incidents in the San Diego area, bringing renewed focus to the risks associated with airports located near residential zones. In October 2021, a twin-engine Cessna 340 crashed into the Santee suburb, a community east of San Diego, while preparing to land at Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport. That crash tragically killed the pilot and a UPS driver whose truck was hit on the ground and destroyed 2 homes. The similarities in the airport destination and the devastating impact on a residential neighborhood serve as a somber reminder of the potential dangers, prompting questions about approach paths and safety measures for aircraft operating in densely populated urban environments. Further back, in December 2008, a U.S. Marine Corps F/A-18D Hornet fighter jet crashed into a house in San Diego's University City neighborhood, a densely populated area not far from Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. That catastrophic incident resulted in the deaths of 4 people inside the home: a mother, her 2 young children, and her mother. The cause of the 2008 crash was attributed to a combination of mechanical failure and subsequent human error in handling the emergency. While the circumstances and aircraft type differ from the recent Murphy Canyon incident, it underscores the long-standing concerns within San Diego communities about the proximity of flight paths to homes and the devastating consequences when aviation accidents occur in urban settings. The immediate aftermath of the crash saw the Murphy Canyon community, though deeply shaken and shocked, begin to demonstrate its inherent resilience. Neighbors, awakened by the terrifying sounds and sights, instinctively reached out to help one another even before the full scale of the emergency response was in place. Stories began to emerge of residents checking on each other, offering shelter to those whose homes were damaged or too close to the danger zone, and providing comfort amidst the chaos and fear. This spirit of solidarity, born from shared trauma, is a testament to the strength of community bonds, which often shine brightest in the darkest of times. Local support organizations and the Navy, given its significant housing presence, also initiated efforts to assist the displaced families. The broader implications of this tragedy for aviation safety, particularly concerning airports like Montgomery Gibbs Executive that are nestled within or adjacent to residential areas, will undoubtedly be a subject of intense discussion and review. Such incidents inevitably reignite the complex debate about balancing the essential needs of air transportation and general aviation with the paramount safety and peace of mind of communities living under flight paths. The NTSB's findings will be crucial in identifying any systemic issues or procedural shortcomings that may have contributed to this crash. These lessons learned will be vital in informing potential changes to regulations, air traffic control procedures, or airport infrastructure to mitigate future risks, not just in San Diego, but globally. The long-term impact on the San Diego community, especially for the residents of Murphy Canyon and the families of the victims, will be profound and enduring. The physical scars on the neighborhood, the destroyed homes and damaged property, will eventually be repaired, but the emotional and psychological wounds will take much longer to heal. The memory of that foggy morning, the loss of life, and the terror experienced will remain etched in the collective consciousness. Community support systems, counseling services, and the simple act of neighbors supporting neighbors will be indispensable in the grieving and rebuilding process. It is a stark reminder that the consequences of such tragedies extend far beyond the immediate aftermath, requiring sustained compassion and assistance. As the investigation proceeds and the community begins its slow journey toward healing, the focus will inevitably turn to ensuring such a devastating event is not repeated. This involves not only a thorough examination of this specific incident by the NTSB, but also a continuous commitment to enhancing aviation safety standards everywhere. For the families mourning the 6 individuals lost on the Cessna, and for the residents whose lives were violently disrupted, the path forward will be challenging. Yet, it is often in these moments of profound loss that the strength of a community truly reveals itself, through shared grief, mutual support, and a collective resolve to remember the victims and work towards a safer future for all.